The Sangyuk Social General Welfare Center is one of the many welfare centers situated across Korea. These places seek to help citizens of all ages to form lasting relationships with others and gain a deeper appreciation for life. While the motivation behind establishing the Sangyuk Social General Welfare Center was social issues, such as poverty and famine, their current mission includes inspiring others to love and respect their lives, also considering other topics such as mental health. The center even leads the Korean Lifeline program, which is designed as an emergency hotline that advocates mainly for suicide prevention and self-care.
모든 길을 차단한 중국이 봉쇄 지역을 그 주변으로 더 넓히고 있습니다.
However, increases in cases of the novel coronavirus known as COVID-19 have made it much more difficult for such centers to operate. Because the facility requires so many employees to handle several different tasks, there is a higher risk of COVID-19 being transferred across those in the center, which is why the buildings have nearly emptied out, leaving only a few residents to take care of everything. I met with Myung-soo Kwon, the director of the center, to discuss what has changed.
Our welfare center is located in the middle of a town where the poor live, called permanent rental apartments. When the welfare center was closed due to the spread of the coronavirus, the elderly and handicapped citizens living alone could not use the welfare center. So, social workers at welfare centers walked around apartments and delivered relief supplies for those who no longer had to access to food. We were lucky that there was an elevator in the apartment, but the workers in other welfare centers who had to deliver relief supplies to people living places without elevator had a very hard time. While doing these things, our workload increased considerably. While experiencing the coronavirus, we had to do it all without any direct contact, so we had a hard time since this was unfamiliar.
Indeed, the welfare center had little to no employees in several rooms. However, visitors were allowed in if they had scheduled appointments. There were also more precautions taken, and upon entering, there were shoe sanitizers and thermal cameras to do temperature checks.
I remember when Daegu had it worse for coronavirus cases. We had discovered one of the elderly we talked to regularly that 2 weeks post-mortem. He was originally sick, but died as the coronavirus made things worse. At that time, the government didn't allow us to visit our residents in person, so his death was discovered later. When coronavirus cuts off or reduces contact with people, it becomes more difficult to find and help people at risk. Social workers must help find people in need, but if the coronavirus spreads rapidly, the safety of social workers is also at risk. So it was a dilemma for us.
When we visited the center, we were also led around by Han Yong-go, another employee there. He explained to us that while they had several rooms for their residents, most of them were empty. The facilities were expansive. They included mental health counseling centers, lounges for both adults and children, libraries, conference rooms for the employees, study halls for teenagers, and even rooms where you could rent toys for children for certain amounts of time. Everyone who visited had their temperatures recorded and protocol was strict. Additionally, there were cafeterias and kitchens originally for serving the residents, but just like the other rooms, these were long empty too. When I asked Mr. Go about this, he stated that because they were no longer allowed to directly serve residents food, the employees would make styrofoam lunchboxes and send them over to where the residents lived, making sure everyone was still fed. According to Ms. Kwon, usage of the lifeline didn't increase much despite indirect help being one of the best methods of help the center could offer. Centers like these are growing in Korea, and as face-to-face help is no longer safe, Sangyuk Social General Welfare Center is also growing its online presence through its Facebook page and the Life Love Nighttime Walking Challenge, which is an event designed to raise social awareness about teenage suicide rates in Korea. It was great to see how Daegu was being improved through the center, and special thanks to Myung-soo Kwon and Han Yong-go.